Welcome to Westeros, a land of sprawling castles, treacherous plots, and ancient magic. It's a world seemingly far removed from our own, yet a closer look reveals striking similarities to the history and geopolitics of the United Kingdom and Ireland. From the bloody War of the Roses to the looming threat of climate change, Westeros offers a fantastical yet eerily familiar reflection of our own world. While dragons and White Walkers may seem like pure fantasy, they serve as powerful metaphors for real-world issues. The struggle for power, the importance of alliances, and the delicate balance of nature are themes that resonate as strongly in our world as they do in Westeros. By drawing parallels between these seemingly disparate worlds, we can gain a deeper understanding of both. We can see how history repeats itself, how power dynamics play out, and how the choices we make today can have far-reaching consequences. So let us delve into the world of Westeros and uncover the ways in which it mirrors our own, offering valuable lessons and insights along the way. One cannot help but notice the uncanny resemblance between the map of Westeros and that of Ireland, flipped on its head. This is no mere coincidence, as George R.R. Martin himself has acknowledged.
If you turn Ireland on its side, you get the same basic shape, he once said, hinting at the inspiration behind his fictional continent. Indeed, the similarities are striking. The north, with its rugged coastline and imposing wall, echoes the wild beauty of Northern Ireland. The sprawling riverlands, with its fertile plains and numerous waterways, mirrors the heartland of Ireland. Even the Iron Islands, with their harsh landscape and seafaring people, find their counterpart in the Aran Islands off the west coast of Ireland.
This geographical mirroring is not just a whimsical detail but a deliberate choice that adds another layer of depth to the story. It allows readers to draw connections between the fictional world and the real one, grounding the fantastical elements in a recognizable landscape.
The shared geography becomes a springboard for exploring shared histories, cultures, and even political structures. Just as Ireland has faced its share of invasions and power struggles, so too has Westeros been shaped by conflict and conquest.
The War of the Roses, a brutal conflict that tore England apart in the 15th century, casts a long shadow over the events of A Song of Ice and Fire. This series, written by George R.R. Martin, draws heavily from historical events to create a rich and immersive world. The War of the Roses, with its complex web of alliances, betrayals, and battles, serves as a perfect backdrop for the intricate political and social dynamics in the series. The struggle between the houses of Lancaster and York, symbolized by the red and white roses respectively, finds its echo in the bitter rivalry between the Starks and Lannisters. The red rose of Lancaster and the white rose of York are not just symbols. They represent the deep-seated enmity and the fight for supremacy that defined the era. Similarly, the dire wolf of the Starks and the lion of the Lannisters are more than mere emblems. They encapsulate the essence of these powerful families.
The Starks, with their ancestral home in the north, and their emblem of the dire wolf, represent the Lancastrians, known for their honor and connection to the land. The north, with its harsh winters and rugged terrain, mirrors the Lancastrian strongholds, where loyalty and honor are paramount. The direwolf, a creature of the wild, symbolizes the Starks' resilience and their deep bond with the land they protect. The Lannisters, on the other hand, with their wealth, golden hair, and penchant for cunning, parallel the Yorks, often associated with ambition and ruthlessness. The Lannisters' seat of power, Casterly Rock, is a fortress of wealth and influence, much like the Yorks' strongholds. Their golden hair and the lion emblem signify their regal ambitions and their readiness to use any means necessary to achieve their goals.
The War of the Five Kings, a central conflict in the series, directly mirrors the chaos and bloodshed of the War of the Roses. This war, with its multiple claimants to the throne and shifting allegiances, creates a tapestry of conflict that is both epic and deeply personal. The battles, the strategies, and the sheer brutality of the War of the Roses are reflected in the series' depiction of the War of the Five Kings. Multiple factions vying for the Iron Throne, shifting alliances, and brutal battles are all reminiscent of the real-life conflict that reshaped the English monarchy. The Iron Throne, a symbol of ultimate power, becomes the focal point of ambition and treachery. The council meetings, the secret plots, and the open warfare all draw from the historical events that saw the rise and fall of kings and queens. This historical parallel adds a layer of realism to the fantasy world, reminding us that even in a land of dragons and magic, human nature remains a constant. The everyday lives of the villagers, the changing seasons, and the presence of mythical creatures all serve to ground the story in a reality that is both familiar and fantastical. The dragons, while magical, also represent the destructive power of ambition and the consequences of unchecked power.
The themes of power, ambition, and the cost of conflict resonate as strongly today as they did centuries ago. The struggles for power, the sacrifices made, and the impact on ordinary people are timeless themes that continue to be relevant. Modern-day protests and political assemblies echo the same desires for justice, equality, and change that fueled historical conflicts. These themes are not confined to the past. They are ever present in our world. The ruins of ancient castles, the bustling markets, and the passage of time all remind us that history is a continuous thread, weaving the past with the present. The lessons learned from these historical parallels can guide us in understanding our own world and the complexities of human nature.
Section 4. Dragons of Mass Destruction, a Geopolitical Threat. In the world of Westeros, dragons are not merely mythical beasts, they are weapons of mass destruction, capable of laying waste to entire cities. Their fiery breath can turn stone to ash and reduce fortresses to rubble in mere moments. Their presence in the hands of Daenerys Targaryen shifts the balance of power and introduces a new element of fear and uncertainty into the Game of Thrones. Her dragons are not just symbols of her claim to the throne but also instruments of her will, capable of enforcing her rule through sheer terror. This mirrors the role of nuclear weapons in our own world. The advent of nuclear technology has forever changed the landscape of global politics, introducing a level of destruction that was previously unimaginable. Just as dragons inspire awe and terror, nuclear weapons represent a force of unimaginable destruction, capable of altering the course of history in an instant. The mere threat of their use can bring nations to their knees, forcing them to reconsider their actions and policies. The fear of nuclear war, much like the fear of Daenerys' dragons, hangs over global politics, shaping alliances and influencing decision-making. Nations form pacts and treaties not just out of mutual interest, but out of a shared fear of annihilation. The possession of such weapons grants immense power but also carries a heavy responsibility. Leaders must navigate the fine line between deterrence and aggression, always aware that a single misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences. Daenerys' struggle to control her dragons and use them for good reflects the ongoing debate surrounding nuclear proliferation and the ethical dilemmas posed by such devastating weapons. The world watches as she grapples with the moral implications of her power, much like how modern leaders must consider the ethical ramifications of their nuclear arsenals. The parallel serves as a reminder that even in a world of magic and fantasy, the consequences of unchecked power can be dire. The ruins left in the wake of Dragonfire are a stark warning of what could happen if nuclear weapons were ever unleashed. It highlights the need for careful consideration, diplomacy, and a recognition of the devastating potential of weapons of mass destruction. Just as Daenerys must weigh her choices carefully, so too must world leaders engage in thoughtful diplomacy to prevent the horrors of nuclear war. The stakes are high, and the future of humanity may well depend on the wisdom and restraint of those who hold such power. Section 5. The Night King Cometh, Climate Change in Disguise. Beyond the political intrigue and battles for the Iron Throne, a far greater threat looms in the north: the Night King and his army of White Walkers. This threat is not just a plot device, but a profound allegory for a real-world crisis. This ancient evil, bringing with it an unnatural winter, represents a force of nature, indifferent to human ambition, and capable of wiping out all life in its path. The relentless advance of the Night King mirrors the inexorable march of climate change, a phenomenon that, if left unchecked, could lead to catastrophic consequences for our planet.
The Night King and his icy legions serve as a powerful metaphor for climate change. Just as the Night King brings a deadly winter, climate change brings rising temperatures, melting ice caps, and unpredictable weather patterns that disrupt ecosystems and human societies alike. Just as the White Walkers threaten to engulf the world in eternal winter, climate change poses a real and present danger to our planet. The melting of polar ice caps leads to rising sea levels, which threaten coastal communities. Wildfires, intensified by prolonged droughts, ravage forests and homes, leaving destruction in their wake. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and mass extinctions are all too real consequences of our changing climate. Coastal erosion eats away at our shorelines, hurricanes and typhoons grow more powerful and frequent, and countless species face the threat of extinction as their habitats are altered or destroyed. The initial disregard for the threat of the White Walkers by many in Westeros mirrors the skepticism and inaction of some towards climate change in our own world. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence, there are still those who deny the existence or severity of climate change, much like the characters who refused to believe in the White Walkers until it was almost too late. The urgency of the situation is often downplayed, and immediate concerns are prioritized over long-term consequences. In our fast-paced world, the slow but steady progression of climate change can seem less pressing than more immediate issues, leading to a dangerous complacency.
However, as the series progresses, the characters in Westeros are forced to confront the reality of the threat and put aside their differences to face a common enemy. This unity in the face of a shared danger is a powerful message for our times. This serves as a timely reminder that climate change is not a distant threat, but a pressing issue that demands our immediate attention and collective action. Just as the characters in Game of Thrones had to unite to combat the Night King, we too must come together, transcending political, social, and economic divides to address the climate crisis. The time to act is now, before the consequences become irreversible.